No Turning Back.
Written and performed by
Sadie Armijo,
Jake Beardsley,
Dylan Pearson,
Adele Vargas,
and Stevie McNabb. August 6, 1945. In the dead silence of the morning, at 8:15 a.m. Japanese Standard Time, the industrial city of Hiroshima was bathed in an intense flash that man had only seen from the heavens. In an instant, 60,000 people were vaporized. 140,000 more were severely injured.
3 days later, a second force was unleashed upon Nagasaki. 40,000 people were killed instantly. What were these catalysts of doom? The two atomic bombs known as Fat Man and Little Boy.
This turning point in history, the most important in the 20th century, not only signaled the end of World War II, but forever altered the political, social, and psychological landscape of the world.
Which people, what ideas and events led the United States to take such drastic measures? How did the decision to use the atomic bomb affect the course of history for the rest of time? The answers to these questions began with a letter from Dr. Leo Szilard to President Franklin Roosevelt.
Franklin D. Roosevelt, President of the United States White House, Washington, D.C. Sir, some recent work by E. Fermi and others lead me to believe that the element uranium may be turned into a new and important source of energy in the immediate future. Certain aspects of the situation call for watchfulness.
Doctor, watchfulness?
The wording must be accurate. Dr. Eugene Wagner and I have long suspected that the Nazis are doing experiments with uranium to develop a superweapon.
A superweapon?
Yes, we believe that the splitting of a uranium atom could unleash power never seen before. That power, harnessed to a weapon, would be capable of unspeakable destruction.
Shouldn't you meet with the president yourself?
I do not carry the necessary credentials to meet with the president. That's why Albert Einstein has agreed to sign this letter.
My dear Professor, I want to thank you for your recent letter. I found this data of such importance that I have convened a board to thoroughly investigate your suggestion regarding the element of uranium. I feel this is the most practical and effective method of dealing with the subject. Please accept my sincere thanks, Franklin D. Roosevelt. I saw neither the necessity nor the utility for such a project, but I agreed to proceed slowly. I appointed the Army Corps of Engineers to run the project while incorporating the best scientific minds in America. The program began with a budget of just $6,000.
However, with the attack on Pearl Harbor and the declaration of war by the United States on Japan and then on Germany, work on an atomic bomb increased with a sense of urgency.
On December 2nd, 1942, Enrico Fermi and Leo Szilard produced the first controlled nuclear chain using uranium-235 under the football stands at the University of Chicago. A byproduct of this experiment was a highly radioactive element not found in nature, plutonium-239.
The possibility of the nuclear bomb went from theoretical to probable. The top secret program nicknamed the Manhattan Project was led by physicist Julius Robert Oppenheimer.
My task was clear. I was to put all the pieces together. I was to coordinate the enrichment of uranium in Oak Ridge with the production of plutonium-239 in Hanford, and the creation of a detonation device in Los Alamos. I recruited the best scientists to design 2 different bombs. Where are we, Seth?
Robert, we can design a gun assembly prototype that can fire 2 subcritical pieces of enriched uranium at each other. At the moment of impact, they retain critical mass and initiate a chain reaction.
The plants at Oak Ridge won't be able to produce enough fissionable uranium for months.
Plutonium offers a more plentiful source of fissionable material.
We need to design a bomb that could bring subcritical masses of plutonium together within the tiniest fraction of a second.
I propose coating a hollow sphere of plutonium with high explosives, which would implode instantaneously upon detonation.
We could devise a high explosive lens that would focus the shockwave and squeeze the plutonium into a critical mass the size of an eyeball.
Let's focus our attention in this area.
Nearly a year later, the success of this device was demonstrated on July 16, 1945, when a plutonium bomb, the world's first nuclear device, was exploded at Alamogordo, New Mexico.
Dark glasses, everyone. The hell with that. I'm gonna see this even if it's the last thing I do see.
That's a possibility, George.
Breathtaking.
Well, it worked.
Yes, the war will be over soon.
Now, we will always be frightened.
I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
News of the world's first successful atomic explosion was cabled to Secretary of War Henry Stimson and President Harry Truman. The cryptic telegram read,
Doctor has just returned, most enthusiastic and confident that the little boy is as husky as his big brother. The light in his eyes discernible from here to Ireland, and I could have heard his screams from here to my farm. This means the nuclear test was successful.
This is amazing news. As President of the United States, it is my call. What am I to do?
The bomb was built to use. Billions have been spent on the project. Why would you waste it? You are unleashing 20,000 tons of TNT on thousands of innocent women and children. Japan's government is in turmoil, and the military is on the verge of surrender. This is unnecessary.
the bomb gives us tremendous diplomatic leverage with Stalin, and his army stands ready to invade Manchuria. Do you really want the Soviets to gain more influence in Asia?
The decision to drop the bomb could be political suicide. Your critics in Congress, as well as our allies, will be outraged when they hear we have created such a weapon and kept it a secret.
We continue to demand an unconditional surrender from the Japanese, yet they refuse. Thousands of American lives will be lost if we invade Japan. This weapon could shorten the war. Besides, this is payback for Pearl Harbor.
If we do this, there will be no turning back.
Sir, what is your decision?
We continue to demand an unconditional surrender from the Japanese, yet they refuse. We saw at Iwo Jima and Okinawa that the Japanese will fight to the last man. If using this superweapon saves just one American life, then we must do it.
Army intelligence has selected several possible target cities. Of course, weather conditions may be a factor. On August 6, 1945, Hiroshima, Japan was bathed in an intense flash that the atomic bomb had dropped. 3 days later, Nagasaki was bombed. Both cities were annihilated. The goal was reached. Japan surrendered, but the human cost was unimaginable.
My name is Akira. I was on my way to school when I heard the sound of airplanes over my head. Suddenly, there was a bright light, and I felt myself fly through the air. Then, everything went black. My name is Masei. I was on my way to work when I heard the air raid alert. Then, the sharp crack of an explosion. I fell to the ground. My children! When I woke, fire and smoke were all around me. Naked people, their bodies burned, black, stumbled, and cried. Their skin hung from their bodies like paper. Mother! Mother! I walked for what seemed like hours, past burned and swollen bodies, past dead mothers clinging to their dead children. Mother! Akira! Our suffering had only begun. Over the next few weeks, we would suffer and die from starvation, thirst, and infection. Our families were torn apart, our lives destroyed. In time, we survivors faced a new devastation. We were witnesses, and therefore social outcasts. Hibakusha, shunned by our own people. Our scars healed, but our hearts remain wounded.
The decision to use the atomic bomb against Japan did end the war, but the consequences drastically altered the course of human history.
Governments faced an uncertain future. Geopolitical relationships were tested by the Cold War,
The spread of communism,
the Cuban Missile Crisis.
nuclear proliferation.
The presence of the bomb ushered in an age of superpowers and a new world social order. World leaders now dealt with mutually assured destruction,
Nuclear disarmament treaties,
high-stakes diplomacy.
economic sanctions.
With the dropping of the bomb, the world was gripped with a new reality. We would never feel safe again. The atom bomb unleashed an atmosphere of fear and hysteria.
Bomb shelters,
McCarthyism,
the CIA,
the creation of the hydrogen bomb.
Did Truman make the right decision? The answer is debatable.
What we do know is that the decision to use the atomic bomb changed history.
For the United States.
For the Japanese.
For all of mankind.
There is no turning back.